Boom! What's up, everyone? Mark Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Guys, check it out, man. Check it out. It's a beautiful Monday. Beautiful Monday. Had a great morning. Went over, coached one of our girls' basketball teams. Got a nice lift in. Feeling pumped, feeling jacked. Got my Lululemon polo shirt on. Feeling dapper. Combed what's left of my hair. Beard is on point. Oh, man, we're ready to go. But we actually had a big weekend in bodybuilding news. That's right, a huge weekend in bodybuilding news, because as you guys know, one of the most well-known coaches in bodybuilding today is Matt Jansen. Now, I've heard nothing but good things about Matt from people I know, from people who know him, from people who've worked with him. So I'm going to say I have no dog in this fight, but I will say, funny story, I was just randomly on Instagram on, I think it was Saturday, and I didn't know any of this news going on, and I randomly DM'd Quint, and I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? Hope everything's good. You know, have a good day, whatever. And then I see this story break, and I'm like, damn, I had no idea. Now, I remember the lead up to him doing his pro shows, his big comeback. Dude was huge. Now, he's a tall dude. So we did an event together. We're at the same event in Ohio last year at Bullfrog Nutrition. And I was there with my daughter, Cammie. And I kid you not, Beastwood is like 6 foot everything. I'm like 5 foot nothing. He's got to be 340, 350 pounds. Dude is a monster. Like, he is making every other pro bodybuilder there look like a small miniature person, like not a midget, more like a giant midget or a tiny human being. This guy is that damn big. So I know he came into the show. I know he wasn't where he wanted to be. And that's what led to this video coming. And then Nick Walker dropping out of the Olympia, being coached by Matt Jansen. I saw rumors floating around. Look, dude, people miss peaks. As someone who coaches people, look, man, I get it right about 90% of the time. 10% of the time, you're close, but you're not perfect. You're not where you wanted to be. So I understand that coaching isn't an exact science. And even if you learn the client, sometimes their bodies change. Sometimes they might be under more stress. Sometimes they just might not follow the program the way they should. Sometimes shit just doesn't work. And again, like Matt was saying could happen at this level, sometimes people can get bad gear. I know that's what Palumbo said happened to Nick, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Is it bad gear, or is it just bad luck, or is it bad timing? Again, comment down below, let me know. Before I get started, I want you to go to TigerFitness.com. That's TigerFitness.com. Coupon code GAINS. GAINZZZ. That's GAINS with 3 Z's. Gets you 10% off the entire site, including my favorite peanut butter cookies and cream MTS Whey, as well as this delicious Planta bar. So anyway, guys, before you get going, before you listen on, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, comment down below to help me in the algorithm, and we will talk about what's going on. So I'm going to bring up this video that was posted to, Beastwood's YouTube channel, and we'll take a gander at what he said. All right, take a little look. All right, so let's pull it up.
So I did everything he said. And honestly, we made great results during that off season. My coach is Matt Jansen, or was Matt Jansen. I fired his ass.
So right there, you knew it was about to get crooked, right? You knew it was about to get sideways. You know it was about to go hardcore. When someone says I fired his ass, like if it went well, he would have been like, you know what? We decided to part ways. I decided to try out a new coach. I decided I wanted something new, but I didn't know where this was going. But when he said I fired his ass, I was like, damn. And Beastwood doesn't talk shit. Like, I was with the guy, we talked for like 2 hours. Dude doesn't talk trash. Nicest guy. So kind to myself, my daughter. Just good dude, man. Good dude.
Because He did a shit job during the contest prep. And now
So he did good in the off season, but he did a ish job during the contest prep.
I was criticized about firing him. People were like, well, why did you fire him? You should have given him another chance. Listen, motherfucker. I would.
Listen, motherfucker. Dude, if Beastwood calls you a motherfucker, you just take it. Like, that is a large man. I do not want to fight him.
Was worse than I was 2 years ago.
So he says after all that work, and he gets into that, I don't know if we'll watch that much of this video, this dude got up to a point where he literally had to use a CPAP. He was endangering his health. He pushed that much food. He got that big.
You know, I took all that time. I made all these sacrifices, you know, and these sacrifices come in many shapes and forms. You know, I lost money because I'm paying for whatever it takes to be a great bodybuilder.
So what he's, what he's getting at is to bodybuild at that level, you're not able to make as much money elsewhere because you're spending all your time eating, sleeping, and training. I know that sounds like a dream life, but I can only imagine that's pretty boring, monotonous, and just, I couldn't do it. I need to work every day. Like, I just got out of a meeting. That's why I wear these cool polo shirts. At the end of the day, man, that would be a miserable existence. Like, you wake up, you train, you eat, repeat. So he's like, I'm going to go. I have the genetics. Look at his genetics, dude. Just look at this screenshot right here. Dude is big, jacked. Holy shit. Like, he has everything that Samson and Andrew have. Everything. He's got the shape. He's got the size. Look at how big his legs are. Like, so just he's got everything. So he's like, you know what? I'm going for broke. I'm still young. I could do this. I'm going to win me some shows. I'm going to get on that Olympia stage, right? He's made all the sacrifices.
I put in money. I invested money into this.
A lot of money between the food. You got to talk about like the ancillaries, the supplements they take. Bro, those ain't cheap. Those ain't cheap. At least if you're not getting fake stuff, which Matt said he probably did, but he also said Nick did. I don't know.
I invested my time, my energy. I wasn't going out. I was a fucking bodybuilding robot.
A bodybuilding robot. That's got to be like I'm sorry, guys. Everybody's like, that sounds like a dream. No, that sucks. Imagine just doing bodybuilding all the time. Everything you do is based on how you look. That'd be so weird, right?
All I did was bodybuild. That's all I fucking did. I worked my fucking tail off, all to show up to stage and be fucking smaller. Now, when it first happened, people...
That's weird. So he bulked up. This is a good cautionary tale in bulking up. You can, look, who was it? Was it, what was Steve? Oh, man. Who was the Iron Man guy? Guys, help me in the chat. Not Blackman. Nah, the guy used to run Iron Man. So basically, he said you can't flex fat. And I think Lee Haney said it too. So once you get to a certain level of bulking and pushing food, it's really not doing much except just adding some unhealthy mass to your body.
People thought, oh, it's something wrong with him because this guy gets it right with every client. Now, let me tell you the difference between a great coach and somebody that's just a great marketer, because I don't believe that you can be a great coach. Like, if you have a guy like me and you fuck up that badly, like, okay, guys.
Yeah, look, I gotta like chime in here. I think Chad Nichols said that the coaching Ronnie Coleman wasn't that hard. Ronnie Coleman, all you can really do is mess him up. Like, he is so good, such great genetics. Like, your goal is just to not mess him up.
Like, this isn't like you just kind of missed. It's not like, okay, shit, we came in with the added size, but we just were a little too soft in the glutes. Or, stomach was a bit bloated from, maybe the carb up was too aggressive. This was not that. That's the kind of error that is okay, but I lost 10 pounds of muscle. I might put up pictures throughout the videos.
Wow. I guess he bulked too much and dieted too hard. Like, it sounds like he was crash dieting. He goes into that. He was doing 2 hours of cardio. 2 hours of cardio? What is he, a marathon runner? Like, dude, 2 hours? The cross country team at the high school doesn't run that much.
So you could see how bad the fuck up was.
Okay, I know he wasn't running. I'm not pretending like this motherfucker was jogging. But like walking when you're 330 pounds, that might as well be a sprint.
But I lost weight that I had no business losing. And I was leaner years before, like 2 years ago.
So that's another thing, man. When you diet, when you crash diet, your body just doesn't adapt. I'm a big fan of 1 to 2 pounds a week and taking your time and retaining as much lean mass possible. But the Minnesota study said, yeah, those were untrained women who didn't compete and didn't take PEDs. You're comparing apples to telephone poles.
I was leaner, 10 pounds heavier than I was this year. And it's just the human body works in different ways for everybody. Now, for a guy like me, and I need to take accountability for some of this because I was willing to do whatever. I'm one of those stupid fucking clients.
So that's the thing he was doing. So when you coach somebody, nothing's worse than somebody like not following it. Or people come to me all the time. Hey man, I'm being coached. Excuse me. I'm being coached by such and such. And what do you think about what they're doing? I'm like, you're paying them, not me. Like, ask them. If you hire a coach, you should listen to what your coach said. So he was doing the right thing. But if you see red flags that you're going to die, like no bodybuilding show is worth dying for, except maybe the Olympia. Just kidding.
If I trust you as my coach, I listen to everything you say. Like, okay, we're going to do it. And I trusted his reputation and I trusted his expertise because I thought he knew what he was doing. When in fact, listen, he must have never worked with somebody like me. I don't know, but I thought it was just a me thing, and I definitely took it a little bit personal because he gaslit me after it, and he said that my gear was fake.
There's the thing, man. Like, so when it comes to bodybuilding at this level, the pro level, there's a couple sources. Like, people aren't going to their local gym. I'm just being honest. Like, most pros are using the same source or the same couple sources. Like, it is what it is, dude. Like, from my knowledge, and I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. But yeah, it's pretty much similar gear all around from like the same dudes.
Yes, guys. He told me my gear was fake. It wasn't the 2 hours of fucking cardio
2 hours of cardio. 2 hours of cardio. This man getting ready for a bodybuilding show? Or is he getting ready for a 5K? A fucking turkey trot?
I was doing because you were afraid I wasn't going to show up in shape. It wasn't the 2 hours of cardio. It was my gear was fake. Now, there's your accountability after. And people are wondering why I fired him. I'm like, well, how do you continue to work with someone when you can't agree on what the problem was? The problem was it was a miscalculation. You know, it was a complete miscalculation for weeks, months of the prep, you know.
That's the thing, man. A lot of coaches will bulk too hard. Look, man, you got a guy like Beastwood, right? Who has superior genetics, can probably lose fat faster than the average person just based on his muscle mass. You just give it a little extra time. But what'll happen, and I'm not saying this is what happened, but what'll happen is these coaches, they'll be behind and they'll just throw more T3 at it. So it's like, hey, we're at 50 micrograms, right? Let's go to 75. Oh shit, we're still behind. Let's go to 100. So from what I understand, T3, even if you're on exogenous steroids, it'll flatten you out. It'll make you lose tissue. I don't care what steroids you're on. You overdo T3, you are losing lean tissue. I would love to know, and I'm not going to ask him, it's none of my business, what the T3 dose was. Because no one's doing 2 hours of cardio in an enhanced athlete without also throwing thyroid in the mix.
Just pushing, ignoring feedback of my knees being hurt and, you know, not being able to get a pump in the gym. Like, I was operating just off of passion for bodybuilding and my love for the sport. And I just had that, like, I had that fire in me. So even as bad.
So that's a true warrior, right? Like, you train through it. you live through it. Like, I'm nowhere, but there's been times like not when I got my pro card in 21 and I competed in 23, none of this affected me like this. But again, I'm not competing at this level. I'm not at Beastwood's level. I'm like a fucking Saturday softball player. Like for me, it's a hobby. It's fun. So I don't get to that level, and I don't have as much muscle, and I'm not as big. So for me, it's not a big deal. But I can only imagine how horrible this man felt doing all that cardio on top of training, on top of, well, he's probably eating still a lot.
Bad as I felt, I'm the kind of person that, because I love doing this, that passion drives me. When I had no energy to do anything, that passion would wake me up at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. That passion would wake me up and I'd hit 3 rounds of posing, send it to my posing coach,
So to have a posing coach hit 3 rounds every morning, that's a professional. You guys want to know why my posing sucks? I don't practice it. I don't have time. I literally just get on stage and I do the best I can. I might do like 1 or 2, but like these guys are professionals. It's what they do. They are masters of the game. Just like remember those stories of Julian Edelman for the Patriots? Stories of him going out before practice, taking 2 hours of catching balls from the jug. I mean, the jugs machine, that's what a professional does. This is a man who wants to win. This is a man who's a fucking master of the craft. This is a man who's dedicated to his sport.
My posing coach was Joey Belt. He was incredible, man. He was there for me. He was there for me every step of the way.
I'm gonna go on a little bit, guys.
Something was off. Oh, his body's not responding. You just realized his body wasn't responding, bro?
Yeah, he should have seen it about 10 weeks out, been like, uh-oh. We need to pick a later show, bro. We need to slow this train down. You're losing too much muscle.
Body wasn't responding at 14 weeks. Shit. You believe it. So sometimes you, as a bodybuilder, like I'm like a 310 pounder, and like I always think that I'm small. I always think that I could be bigger. Now, some people are going to hear me say that.
Bigger X is a bitch, bro.
I was better off pulling out. They said that's how bad he looked, that he made the best decision by pulling out. And to me, if you
sometimes the best decision is just to pull out.
Have a high-level athlete and you can't even bring them into the show because of whatever the fuck you put them through, or because you failed to notice something, especially when the guy moved to your fucking state, to your city.
Let's talk about Nick right now.
Because when I was at 320, he pushed me. He said I was too lean. So he basically pushed.
Imagine being 320 and too lean. That is nuts. That is crazy.
Me and wanted me to have burgers on every training day.
So he's eating burgers every training day. So I'm guessing 5 days a week. You're just shoveling in shit food. Your cholesterol levels, your lipid profiles are already out of whack from all the endogenous hormones you're taking in. I've said this before, and I don't want to sound wrong. It amazes me that more bodybuilders don't die. That's how resilient the human body is. Like their lipid profiles are fucked up. Their liver enzymes are fucked up. The coaches don't care. They're not doing anything for their overall health. I mean, dude, like you have a guy who's already, having trouble, like having some health issues. He's sleeping with a CPAP. And you're going to just tell him to eat burgers every day?
To put on more body fat. And then when we did the prep, one of the excuses at the end was that, we pushed the off season too hard and it was hard to get in shape. It's like, well, you fucking said that. You told me I was too lean. And
yeah, he's right. You don't, guys, you can't flex fat. If a guy's 320 and lean and he wants to compete at 300, that's 20 pounds. You don't need to get bigger than that. Samson was, I think, 303 on stage. Does he get above 330? Like, why are we tempting fate? Why are we tempting fate here?
And I have screenshots. I have the actual WhatsApp conversation. I'm just not the kind of guy that's gonna air out texts and shit.
Look at this guy's shape. How he's not top fucking 6 at the Olympia is a travesty. He just needs a little more lean tissue and come in shredded. I mean, look at that fucking shape, dude. 6 foot everything, 300 plus pounds.
Unless somebody.
Let's fast forward a little bit.
Sometimes athletes don't make it to shows. This isn't the first time that's happened. Like, when you see my body flattening out and you're a high level coach, maybe you don't know how to deal with it perfectly, but like, troubleshoot, like, excuse after prejudging. Matt made an excuse about Sean, saying the judges asked for that. No, the judges didn't ask for the guy to be fucking flat.
So he's talking about Sean Clarita not showing up well for the Olympia. Yeah, I did read that post where he's like, the judges wanted something. No, the judges wanted him to be lean. That's it. He's the giant killer, right? Like, the judges wanted him to be lean. They didn't say, hey, come in flat. What?
They didn't ask for him to show up flat. They wanted him to be a bit tighter and come in with a more controlled abdomen. I think that versus the look that they brought are not the same thing.
Nah, I mean, controlled abdomen means pushing less food, basically, at that end of it, right? The abdomen's tough. When you're going up against Keon, you're not going to beat him on waist size. You just got to minimize it as much as possible and come in shredded. But Keon, I don't think Sean could have beat Keon at his best. Like, no one's beating Keon, in my opinion. Keon will be the greatest 212 as long as he wants to be.
Like, you brought this guy in like me. Now, he has a lot more muscle maturity and density than I have. So, he still looks decent, but it's like, man, like, once you put on that tissue, like, he was the giant killer. And he didn't show up as the giant killer. And there's a common denominator. One guy didn't make it to the show. One guy looked like a fucking swimmer, I guess. And then Sean also shows up undersized. So I guess I say all that stuff to say that if you follow my Instagram and you know about the thigh gap community, I would like to.
All right. So
perfection.
Let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about this. Look, I'll get to your chat in a second. Coaching at a pro level. Jason Theobald, who's a great guy, Scooby, he once said something he actually helped me when I first started competing in 2007, 2008. Cincinnati guy, that's where Tiger Fitness is headquartered. By the way, coupon code GAINS, GAINZZZ, 10% off the entire site. He said you can only do so much with chicken and rice. And that was what he told me multiple times, because I'm like, hey, I want to look like this. He's like, Mark, you can only do so much with chicken and rice. What he meant to say was, you're acting as a prescribing doctor, you're acting as a health practitioner, you're acting as a psychologist, you're acting as a nutritionist, which you're not, you're acting as a trainer, which a lot of these guys have no idea. Like me, I'm an actual coach. I'm an actual strength coach. This morning at 6 a.m., I'm coaching a basketball team. They do not have that. At the end of the day, these guys recommend drug cycles, and then they give you some diet and training to go with it. That's it. Prove to me I'm wrong. What's the difference between coaches? Their diets are all shit. Okay, meal 2 is fucking tilapia and sweet potato. Meal 3 is chicken and rice. Meal 1, 8 egg whites and a bagel. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're paying someone to manage your chemicals. That's it. Most of these guys can probably coach themselves. Samson won the Olympia with his wife coaching him. You know what his wife did? I don't know what she did, but here's what I'm guessing. If I did a show and I'm like, Katie, my wife Katie is my coach, okay? What I would do is be like, hey, Katie, how do I look? She'd be like, well, you look okay. Do not open that door. Katie would be like, hey, you look okay. That's Katie. And I'd be like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you know, your lower back has a little skin on it. Like, oh, shit. She'd be like, you know what? Maybe eat less. Oh, okay, Katie. hey, Katie, how do I look? Well, I was at the gym and I was training while you were training, and you were training like a pussy. Can you train? Oh no, Western Bagel, bring that in here. I got to give him a shout out. So anyway, all these bodybuilders really need, it's easy to figure out a cycle. They've done enough of them. They just need someone that last week or two to just tell them the truth. If I was going to compete, I'd go to Alan Roberts. Because Alan Roberts, he's probably my best friend in the whole wide world. I'd be like, Alan, am I ready for stage? He'd be like, no, you're too fucking fat. But Alan doesn't know bodybuilding, but he tells the truth. I just don't understand. But some guys have the formula down. Hanny Rambod, he's the greatest. Hanny Rambod is, if you're a pro and you can hire Hanny Rambod, hire Hanny Rambod. The guy's won more Olympias than anybody. He's a god. Chris Aceto, another guy. Guys, by the way, here's a shipment because I'm Jewish. So, Western Bagel. Western Bagel. Oh, pumpkin. These are low-carb bagels. And I think it still works. Coupon code LOWBLINDER at westernbagel.com. I don't even know if it works. I just got these bagels here. Westernbagel.com. These are so good. Like these perfect 10 bagels. Check it out. You got 140 calories. You got 19 grams of carbs, 7 of which are fiber, 19 grams of protein. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Western Bagel. Shout out. Perfect timing. So, I mean, look, dude, we don't need to do this whole coaching thing anymore. Get somebody to help guide you in at that level. And I do coaching, but the main people I coach aren't competitors. I coach people trying to get their life together, who don't know diet, who don't know training, who just need somebody to give them a third eye, right? Need somebody to tell them what to eat every day. Dude, these guys have done enough diets. They know. They know. And if you're going to hire a coach, hire someone who can actually just guide you in to get really lean and shredded. But these gurus, what makes them a guru? What makes them a guru? Is it chicken and rice cooked differently? No. They adjust their diet as they go, and they tell them what to take. It is what it is. And a lot of times these guys don't care about these people's health. They don't care about it. They just want to get another win on their belt. I'm not saying any specific coach is doing it, but hell, how many people have accused Chad Nichols, like Sean Ray and Chad Nichols, all the time? Who is that one coach? The one who allegedly killed a bunch of people. I forgot his name. But dude, it's nuts, man. I hope Beastwood figures it out. And anyway, that's segment 1. Let's get on to the questions. Like the video. Absolutely, guys, like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell. Shop at tigerfitness.com. Coupon code GAINS. At the Olympia level, getting bad gear, doubt it. And insane, if that's really the case. BS excuse for a coach. I have to agree. Tiger Fitness Pro, you shouldn't talk shit about Palumbo. Palumbo had 50 pounds lean on you. Also, dude, lifted up bodybuilding super high. You just yell angrily. Actually, I'm just getting my voice back. This is the only way I could talk. So my voice hopefully will be back by the end of the week. Palumbo did have weight on me, but he was carrying a child. So, I mean, that could be the reason why. I don't know. Guys, the Palumbo beef is over. I don't care. I'm pretty sure he doesn't care. And at the end of the day, I have a pro card and he doesn't. So even if he was better, scoreboard. Oh, Mark, you won a master show. Okay, Palumbo can compete right now. Prove me wrong. Matt Jansen called, said this stream and your gear is fake. Thank you, Christopher. BS of a coach. I don't know. Look, man, he coached Bumstead through how many Olympias? Well, I do 2 hours of cardio daily. I'm not a bodybuilder. Look, if you count my coaching, I do probably 3 hours of cardio a day. But again, I'm not Beastwood, man. He better be taking a ton of electrolytes. Yeah, you're right. I wonder what his sodium was at. Legit question. Why don't you do any pro coaching? Nobody will hire me. I would, but I would defer to someone else on the whole gear part. What I would do is I would simply do the diet and training. Because that's why I like coaching natural guys. I coach a ton of natural guys. MarkLobliner.com. That's MarkLobliner.com. MarkLobliner.com. But I mean, dude, I don't do the chemistry thing, man. It's too much liability. Shelby Starnes, that's the guy. I haven't heard about him in a while. You think it's over for Matt as a coach? His reputation? No, he'll still be good. Matt will be fine. Again, he has, how many Olympias has he won with Bumstead and how many girls he brought in? Like, I don't know what's true. I'm just giving you feedback, general feedback. But this doesn't look good between him and Nick and Sean. I don't know. Thoughts on Ramon winning Brazil Pro? That guy's gifted, man. What a great body, right? What a great bodybuilder. I love Ramon. He's great. Seems like a great guy too. I'd love to hang out with him. Anyway, let's get on. Is it true that John Meadows hated Matt Jansen? I have no idea. We never talked about it. Do you know if Sean so Nick did leave Matt, and I have no idea what Sean's doing. I want to do a show. I'm 40 just for fun. What shows should I look for? I'm in Ohio. If you're natural, ANBF is great. Do you want to compete naturally in the NPC? ANBF is a good natural organization, or just find a local NPC show. Find one and go. Just go to a show. Most NPC shows are awesome. Most promoters are awesome. They got rid of the bad ones. Obviously, I'm biased towards the NPC and IFBB, but just go to a show. Any NPC show. Just go there and see how it does. TRT. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're natural. Yeah, if you're not, don't go to. ANBF allows TRT. I'm not a fan of that. So just go do pick an NPC show, pick a date you want to do and go. That's what I would do. Anyway, let's get on to the next story. All right, guys. So just bringing back Rich Piana. I thought this, dude, I have to restart. My browser lost screen share audio. So I'll be right back. Stay here. All right, I'm back. Did you miss me? All right, guys, let's get to this. Let's get to this next piece. See, I figured it out. I got to restart every time I go to a new screen. It is what it is. All right, check it out, guys. Check it out. I thought this was fascinating because I don't think people actually know what Rich Piana took in his heyday, but this is a really good kind of background of boom. Whoops, wrong button. All right, check it out. This is a really good kind of summation of what Rich took at his highest point. I would just like to get your reaction to this. All right, ready?
I'm going to talk about the craziest regimen I've ever done in my life. Basically, it was between the time I won the California overall to the time I was competing in the USAs, and I placed 7th.
Keep in mind, guys, he took all this gear and didn't even win. He placed 7th. 7th, bro. 7th. It's crazy.
A year, I put on approximately 48 pounds of muscle.
48 pounds of muscle in a year after already being a winning competitive bodybuilder. That's crazy.
I weighed 231 on stage at the California, and I think I believe it was 287 at the USA.
That is crazy. He wins the California and gains 50 pounds.
On stage, and I placed 7th, so I couldn't have been in that bad of shape. But it was just an incredible amount of size that I had put on, and I did everything I could that year as far as winning that show. Everything I did from the minute I woke up to the minute I went to bed was about winning that contest. Obviously, I didn't win. I got 7th.
Imagine being an amateur and not doing anything but bodybuilding, kind of like what Beastwood did, but as an amateur. That's crazy.
And that was kind of what my fire burned out after that show, because I put so much into it and did everything I could. But let's cut to the chase here. Basically, I was eating 12 solid meals a day.
12 meals a day. That's like a meal every hour. That's insane.
I was eating every hour and a half to 2 hours.
Wow.
Typical meal was 2 chicken breasts, 8 egg whites, and 2 to 3 cups of rice per.
Dude, you know how much rice that is? He's literally finishing one meal and starting the next. That is bonkers. That is bananas.
Meal, eating that 12 times a day. I was training twice a day. I was doing cardio twice a day. And when I...
Okay, I have a question. Forgive me. Why would you eat that much and do that much cardio? Why not just eat a little less? This makes no sense to me. But the training twice a day, wow.
Wasn't training or doing cardio. I was taking a nap. I would sleep 4 to 5 times a day.
I don't buy this. I'm not believing this. 12 meals, taking naps, still getting 8 hours of sleep a night. I think Rich is exaggerating. I think he was eating 8 times a day.
1 to 3
But Rich was always so truthful. Okay, cool, whatever. He's not lying. I'm an idiot.
hours each time. That's what I did, because I felt that was the best possible scenario to put on the most amount of muscle humanly possible, was to break up my sleep so I could eat more, train more, do more cardio. Drug-wise, I was taking 2 IUs of growth every hour and a half to 2 hours.
2 IUs of growth every 2 hours. Whoa.
So this was 15 years ago, remember? So this was back 15 years ago, and this is how ahead of time I was, as I was taking...
That's ahead of time? Whoa, what the fuck are they taking now?
Growth every hour and a half to 2 hours throughout the day, and tried to take it on an empty stomach. It's kind of hard when you eat 12 times a day.
Dude, like, you're a human pincushion at that point, right?
But I was taking, approximately 20 IUs of growth a day.
20 IUs is about right. I think even Paul Barnett takes like 18 IUs a day.
As far as my steroid cycle, back then, I was taking 2 grams of test.
2 grams of test, I'm guessing that's a week.
Probably 600 to 800 milligrams of tren.
So that's a lot of tren, dude. I don't even know how he could sleep with that much tren. Holy shit.
Probably 600 milligrams of equipoise.
Wow.
I was taking 300 milligrams of injectable anadrol.
Whoa, 300 mgs of anadrol. Dude, his red blood cell count must have been like 8 billion. However the fuck you measure red blood cells.
A week. And the 20 IUs of growth. And for me, that's probably the craziest I've gotten. And I was growing daily. And
yeah, you were growing daily. He was getting deader by the day.
The amount of muscle I put on my body was insane. And that...
Yes. You better put on muscle. 2 grams of test with added 800 milligrams of tren. Whoa.
That was the time.
Almost a gram of tren a week.
Where I noticed I had a little bit of stomach growth going on.
Of course he has stomach growth. Everything is growing. Everything is growing. Even your head's growing at that point.
And when I looked at the pictures from the Cal to the USA, my belly button had became herniated.
Of course.
And I noticed my stomach kept protrude a little bit in 1 year. And that's when I kind of told myself, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just, doing crazy shit to try to win this contest. And I didn't even win. I got 7th place. I didn't even get a trophy. And I probably spent about 15 grand, on that contest. And I had nothing to show for it. Nothing. So that was kind of the eye opener for me, that, maybe this bodybuilding thing ain't all what it's, cut out to be. I started to open my eyes. But anyway, a lot of people asked me what my craziest cycle was. And that was my craziest year of just doing whatever it took to win that show. And, 20 IUs of growth. Hey, 15 years ago, it's pretty crazy shit.
No, he's not wrong. That is pretty crazy shit. Wow. Wow, that's a lot of drugs. But you heard it from Rich himself, man. He still didn't win. Like my buddy Ron Parmeter, he's a natural bodybuilder. He used to put on a show called The Uprising. And, he once said, no matter how much you polish a turd, it will never turn into a diamond. If you're not genetically gifted with the shape and the symmetry and the muscle bellies, you're just not going to win. So you could throw all the drugs in the world at somebody. If they don't have the genetic predisposition to win, they're just not going to win. So hopefully that's a precautionary tale to a lot of you folks out there who think that if you simply took more drugs, if you simply did more, if you simply took more risks, then you would actually win a show. The answer is, if you can't win a local show on nothing being natural or on very little, there's very slim chances that you will become an IFBB pro. With that being said, guys, that's the episode. Let me get to your chats. So Matt never trained Chris. Ian did. Got it. My bad. Shelby Starr's a horrible coach. Got it. He never won Olympias with Bumstead. Okay, got it. Stand corrected. I stand corrected. Catching my first live for UK. What's up, Nick? Nicholas is jacked. That is a jacked man right there. You're one funny guy. I love hearing the rat. Also, you can't polish a turd, true, but you can roll it in glitter. On that, guys, we'll see you tomorrow on our next Daily Fit. Means a couple things. It's about fitness, and I'm kind of throwing a fit. When my voice comes back, I won't have to scream. But on that note, guys, yeah, so I feel this way about Nick Walker. I don't think he'll win the Olympia due to his overall shape. I think it's going to be very hard for him to overcome the shapely guys now. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We leave you with that. Once again, like this video, subscribe to this channel, click on the notification bell, go to tigerfitness.com, come on, code GAINS, GAINZZZ, that's 3 G's, that's GAINS. Get you 10% off the entire site. Thanks for watching, guys. Going to leave you with an ad as soon as I pull it up here. And again, it's just another option of something you buy from tigerfitness.com. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. See you next time. And that's not a game.
Every few years, we get a new version of creatine. Creatine HCl, creatine ethyl ester, you name it, there's a new creatine. But one stands out as the best, as the tried and true, and that's creatine monohydrate. But not all creatines are created equal. Most of the creatine comes from China. I'm not saying anything bad about Chinese ingredients. A lot of them are great. But if I'm taking creatine, the most important, most beneficial, most amazing, most studied supplement, I want to get it from the most pure source. I want to get it from the source where all the studies that we cite were done on, and that is CreaPure Creatine. So that's why I came out with my own brand of MTS Nutrition CreaPure Creatine. Not only are you getting the CreaPure branded creatine, but you're also getting it from a source that you know tested coming in, going out from MTS Nutrition, the brand you love, the brand you trust, and by buying from us, you're buying it from a company who supports you and here to help you reach your goals. Support companies who love you, support companies who don't hate you. If you take creatine, take MTS Nutrition CreaPure Creatine, I can say this with the certainty, with the utmost certainty, that this is the best creatine you can buy, period.